Corneliu Bjola is a professor of diplomatic studies at Oxford University, and he joins us live now from Oxford in the United Kingdom. Professor, great to see you. Trump is clearly using all this publicity as part of his campaign strategy. Is that a fair observation?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the observation is quite correct. This is a second indictment of Trump, and I guess not the last one. There are two other investigations, one related to his interference in the counting of the votes in the state of Georgia in 2021, and the second one about his coordination, potential coordination of the events during the insurrection on the 6th of January. So we have to wait, but I think there are more other indictments, at least another indictment to come. But what is happening, as you rightly pointed out, is that he's using these events politically. And I think it looks that this indictment has helped him. And probably it's very likely that he's going to push ahead and maybe seize again the nomination from the Republican Party. This indictment and the narrative he provides about political prosecution is a political goal for him, but I guess in the general election that can turn against him, as it happened in 2021, because the general election is not only about political activists and the electoral base, but also about the independents and those moderates that they don't see this kind of indictments with a positive eye.
Professor, these are clearly very serious charges that carry serious jail time if convicted. Do you think Donald Trump fully grasps the reality of this prosecution?
It's difficult to understand at the moment whether he's fully aware of the potential implication, but there is no room for him to back down. And that's the problem with this kind of populist movements that we've seen in the United States with Donald Trump, with Boris Johnson in UK, with Viktor Orban in Hungary, is that for them, the rules are there to be broken. I mean, for Trump at the moment, he says, I'm above the law. He's this kind of repetition of Louis XIV, l'état c'est moi. He's above the law. And this is what he has done with in this kind of events. And once you break the law and you are out of power, the outcome is not a pleasant one. In the case of Trump, that could end up with years in prison, but also with other populist movements. I think this is what is happening with this kind of populist movements. We've seen in the case of Trump, but not only, it's a frontal attack against democracy for the reasons that I mentioned. You cannot place yourself above the law, whether you are a former president or not. And that's a big test for American democracy. And we also learned that once they come to power, it's very difficult to uproot this kind of movements. But institutions, both in the United States, also in UK, democratic institutions have proved quite resilient against this kind of attacks.
Professor Corneliu Bjola, live from Oxford University. Thanks for your insight.
Thank you very much for having me.